is looking deep down the left side. Mendeville into the end zone. Touchdown! Down the sidelines for Foley. Pointing to the house.
And the players streaming from the sideline to celebrate with 17 seconds left.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of BVarsity Live. I'm Zach Ewing. This is the downtown TBC Media Studios, and it is Thursday, November 12th. I'm flying solo today, as it turns out. We're at a special time, as you know. Trevor Horn is out at league cross-country meets out at Hart Park. We're going to check in with him later, hopefully. And our guests planned for the day couldn't make it with a time change, so here I am by myself. It's a lonely existence. But Lewis Amestoy is coming in the studio, so we're set to go. Then I'm just going to let Lewis talk for the next hour because I'm all head cold and all that stuff. How do you feel about that? Could I just take a nap while you? Oh, you're going to sit on that. Okay then.
Are the Raisin guys joining us?
I do not believe so, Mr. Andy Bogart, as I believe you're referring to, is he's busy with his own cross country meet. He's at the Tri-River Athletic Conference cross-country meet today. So all the league cross-country meets, I can report to you that Marcus Moda of Stockdale is the SWIL boys cross-country champion. He beat Miguel Morales of Liberty, among others, and Morales was really favored there. And looks like Morales Liberty's Cagney Duncan, the champion. But we'll check in more with Trevor as we go. They're still running out there at Hart Park, so we'll sneak and a quick this year was the top local finisher. She shot a 75 4 over par. Unfortunately, to get onto the state tournament, you've got to be really low down there. I haven't heard the cutoff score. I'm guessing that 4 over did not make the state meet.
Probably not, especially in Southern California and girls golf. I mean, there's so many outstanding golfers in that region. It's incredible. There's a lot of them that are in that age group don't even play high school golf.
Right, absolutely. There's only been one Bakersfield girls golfer to make the state tournament in the history of the sport, and that was 4 years ago. I want to say 2011, and that would have been Megan Shane from Frontier High School made it. So it's really it's a difficult thing to do. It's probably the most difficult state event to make in the state of California in high school events. So. Unfortunately, it didn't work out today for either Lexi or Taitlin Alvarez of Liberty or Maddie Daniel of Bakersfield Christian, who we had on our show last week, all three of them, the regional qualifiers from the Central Section. Tennis this week, Division I, we had the Stockdale tennis team in last week. They did not fare well against Buchanan. That was over by the end of singles. Buchanan won 5 of the 6 singles matches and clinched that championship. Ended up winning, I think, 6-3 over Stockdale. But in Division II, Bakersfield Christian, a really dramatic victory over Redwood to win their 10th straight section title. This one up in Division II. And then Independence in Division III won the section title. They went 23-1 this year, so congratulations to them, too.
Tremendous.
What else we have? Water polo starts this week, the playoffs. Volleyball playoffs tonight. I know Trevor's going to be at Centennial.
Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be down in Arvin. The Bears facing San Joaquin Memorial in the Division III quarterfinals.
It's a tough one for Arvin.
Yeah, that'll be tough. But you know what? It'd be a big win for them. If they win, they likely will get a third meeting with Bakersfield Christian in the semifinals. Arvin's only lost 3 matches all year. Unfortunately for them, 2 of them have been to BCHS, and they could face BCHS again next week in the semifinals. And then Trevor will be at Centennial. They face Central. Liberty's also at home. And Frontier is on the road at Clovis West.
Who does Liberty play tonight?
Liberty plays Clovis North.
So have we seen the development of another transcendent volleyball player here? We're just getting through the Brianna Runnels.
She signed, by the way, just signed less than an hour ago with Colorado State.
So Brianna Runnels signs with Colorado State. To me, one of the most powerful girls players I've ever seen in person, as far as how she attacks, how she jumps.
And that's just 1 year after Destiny July left, who was a transcendent talent in her own right.
Right. I mean, and I've only been here for 4 years, and I never saw, I saw some. Well, I'm McKenna Payton from
Centennial.
From Centennial. What is the girl from Liberty? Roberts, Haley Roberts from Liberty.
Yeah, and before your time here, Alyssa Gamble at Centennial, who went on to Virginia Tech. She was a very powerful player, undersized compared to Runnels and July, but a very powerful player.
I mean, McKenna Payton was one of the great leapers of all time I've ever seen. And then I see Brianna Runnels, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. Destiny July just hit the ball a ton. But the young lady from Liberty, who has the great volleyball lineage, none other than
Elise Ferreira.
Ferreira, who is only a freshman but looks like just has this commanding presence out there. It'd be interesting to see how she wraps up here in 4 years, because I was so impressed with her when she played Centennial.
Oh, and Liberty has Brooklyn Cheney as well, the transfer from Tehachapi. That's a loaded team facing Clovis North tonight. And if they win, they'll get the winner of Frontier and Clovis West in Tuesday's semifinals. Of course, volleyball this year has that one-site championship a week from Saturday in Lemoore.
Where's it at?
It's at West Hills College in Lemoore, off the beaten path a little bit.
Wow.
You're going to be joining us for that? It's going to be an all-day affair for Kern County teams, perhaps.
When is that?
It's a week from Saturday. Your first Saturday without BC football in like 12 weeks. I don't know. You could watch some great high school volleyball.
There's nothing better than girls high school volleyball.
No, it's terrific. And that would be starting at 10 a.m. with the Division 5 championship all the way to 8 p.m. with the D1 championship. So could be a Liberty Centennial affair. Could be Liberty and Clovis East, who's the number 2 seed. Could be Centennial and Clovis West. Who knows if there are some upsets.
It's probably going to be, based on our luck and history, it's probably going to be the Raisin Eaters will be up top on there. It'll probably be Clovis East and Clovis West.
Where did this term Raisin Eater
Well, remember
came
there
from?
was a show, and I think John Farron was in it when he was a little kid. It was instead of Dallas, they had a show about Fresno, and they were raisin farmers.
Well, they are raisin farmers up
Yeah.
there. Sun-made raisins.
Yeah.
But that's Kingsburg more than Fresno, right?
Well, I mean, it's just all the same.
I eat raisins.
It's all the same.
Does that mean I'm not going to ask.
Okay.
I won't go there. And hey, the high school football playoffs begin tomorrow, of course, and we have another meeting between Central and Centennial. That will be at Centennial.
Where's
I'll be
Trevor
there.
at?
Trevor is going to be at South.
Okay.
The Rebels facing Reedley. You're going to be at Bakersfield Christian.
I'm looking forward to that game. You know, Highland, they played South earlier this season, and they didn't really do much offensively. They're a little goofy when it comes to how they run their offense, but man, they play good defense. So it'll be interesting to see if they can slow down the BCH. It's good to see the Carr guys getting things rolling again with the Eagles, but I think that's actually a pretty tough first round matchup.
Yeah, you know what? We'll get to predictions later. I don't see it for Highland. I think
I don't necessarily eat either, but I mean, when you have a first round game and you're going to play a team,
a 13 seed,
a 13 seed that has, if you go back and you watch the game film from South's got some pretty good athletes. Now, you and I talked about this the other day. South's terribly undisciplined, but Highland just punched those guys in the mouth defensively. They weren't able to run the ball very well, and Highland's got some guys who can play football, and that's not we might win the game, but at what cost? That's the ultimate issue.
It could be, and I do think Bakersfield Christian getting a couple of midseason transfers on the offensive line is going to help them negate that defensive line, which is clearly Highland's biggest strength. So we'll get to predictions later in the show, but I do want to take also a look, kind of an overview of each of the 5 divisions, if we can, 6 divisions in the football playoffs. So we wanted to get Andy Bogart on the show. Unfortunately, he's watching cross country today, just like Trevor.
I wouldn't have him on the show.
Do you think you can call him a raisin eater to his face?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just not really sure. Is that really an insult?
Sure.
Do you not eat raisins?
No.
You don't?
Only in Raisin Bran.
In Raisin Bran?
And I don't eat Raisin Bran because I'm lactose intolerant, so there you go.
Okay. Well, I eat raisins, so I guess I'm a raisin eater.
Yeah. But you don't grow them. You don't raise them.
Raisin raisers is really what the insult should be. Okay. All right.
Okay, here's the deal, right? Okay. Let's go back to this for a second. Let me go off on a rant here for a second. Now, there's always going to be regional bias, and there just seemed like this year there was more regional bias than necessary. Are you going to join us?
Absolutely.
Oh, sit over there in Hop's chair then. All right.
All right. Scott Cox is here.
Scott Cox is joining us. So
an unexpected surprise here on BVarsity
Scott Cox
Live.
now live with us on Bakersfield.com. We'll turn your mic on in a second. But there's always regional bias, and I think we really saw that this year when Clovis was elevated to the number 1 seed in the Division I playoffs. No, there's no reason for that. Yes, Liberty was 7-3,
6-3.
6-3. They were hamstrung by a team that didn't want to play them. They played a schedule that had 2 number 1 seeds, including the number 1 team in Division II, essentially for the Southern section, and a very good Cathedral Catholic program. That's only lost 3 games this season. So I don't know why Liberty was penalized for that record, considering how difficult that non-league schedule was.
I don't think. No, I was in the room in Porterville when they did this. I don't think they were penalized for the record as much as the committee saw a 9-1 Clovis team against a reasonably good schedule and a 6-3 Liberty team against a very good schedule.
What was their reasonably good schedule then? They barely beat Centennial, right?
But listen,
they barely beat.
Margin of victory does not enter into this.
They barely beat Paso Robles.
It cannot enter into this because you're opening up a can of worms if you do that. Now, what happened was they went to a tiebreaker.
Right.
The first tiebreaker is head-to-head. They didn't play.
Right.
The second tiebreaker is common opponents. They played 3 of them, Stockdale, Centennial, Buchanan. Beat them both, all 3.
Right.
Now, the unfortunate thing for Liberty is had they been able to play Central, that would have been a 4th common opponent, and Central beat Clovis. So that would have been Liberty's opportunity. They did not get that chance. So it went to the third tiebreaker, which is Cal Prep's rating, which is completely objective, and Cal Prep's had Clovis slightly higher. So that's where it came from, and that's why Clovis got the number 1 seed. And
because they're 9-1.
They're 9-1 against a now the track. Top to bottom was better than the SWIL this year. I don't think there's any doubt of that.
That's subjective. What do you think, Scott Cox?
I agree with you, Lewis.
Right. See, because the people in Fresno, well, how do they look at the folks from Bakersfield?
I don't. The people in Fresno.
Yeah. Do they look down at us in Bakersfield? Do they like?
Oddly
down
enough,
here?
they do, which is why I hate them. Because it's kind of like Springfield and Shelbyville.
Yeah.
It's basically the exact same town in 2 different geographical areas, but somehow they manage to look down on us.
That's true. When really everything that they dislike about Bakersfield is true about Fresno in larger proportion.
You could build a giant mirror just south of Fresno for them to stare into, and they'd go, "Those guys suck." They wouldn't. It's Fresno. They don't know any better.
Now,
John Farron's going crazy out there.
You went to a high school. You went to Foothill High School.
I did,
right? with Mike Griffith, right?
Mike, I think Mike was long gone.
Long gone
when
before
I got there.
Now, your
God, I hope he
team
was.
was 0-10, 1-9 this year. Is that right?
They actually won 2 games this
2-8
year.
this year.
It was a good year for the Trojans.
They weren't much better than that when I was there.
But wasn't Ned Permenter the coach there at the time?
Nasty Ned. Kissed a pig.
Nice.
True story.
Nice.
Wait, did you see this?
Yeah, everybody did. He did in front of the whole school.
But Foothill was a power in those days, right? Weren't they a strong program in those days?
They were really, really strong for a long time. They had a hiccup there for about 2-3 years. It was the SYL at the time, but came back strong. They were fine. I think I held them back in a lot of ways, and but they recovered. I don't know how good they are now.
And you were on the tennis team though.
Yeah, and baseball.
And baseball.
Yeah.
You didn't play football though.
Couldn't get the time off. Had to work.
All right. Well, we can take a break now.
All right, let's take a break on BVarsity
Thanks
Live.
to Scott Cox. First look with Scott Cox. Every morning here, Monday through Friday. I also found out that it's on Saturday mornings too.
What time does that show come on?
What
6
time?
a.m.
6 a.m.
Does that time even exist? Like I don't even understand that time.
At your age, it's a time you stay up until. It's not a time you get up.
No, actually, that's the time my 5-year-old usually wakes up.
There you go.
And
you give him some Benadryl and
I sleepily turn on cartoons and then go back to sleep. So
Good Father of the Year, baby.
There you go.
there we go.
Scott Cox.
We'll be back. John Farron's going to tell us all the great things about Fresno during the break, and we'll relay them to
Good
you
luck
after
thinking
this.
of 1, Farron.